How's it going, everybody? This is Seer here, and I have two big blog post videos for you guys. This one here is going to be mainly about the Starjammers. The first one we're going to be going over is going to be the additional Lilandra event details, basically going over how this event is going to end up being, how player friendly is this, and is this something we want them to do in the future, because I think it's actually a very cool idea. The second one we're going to end up looking at is going to be the new characters that you're seeing in game right now, which is going to end up being Havoc and Howard the Duck, with the confirmation that Rocket Raccoon did end up getting the rework as well for the Starjammers team. So we're going to end up taking a look at all of this together. So let's start by going over the Lilandra event details, because this one here is going to end up being how we end up getting the unlock for her, which they said we can get 7 stars in 10 weeks. So it's pretty cool. So as we announced last week, the Lilandra would have a first of its kind event that will provide her character shards, and today we're going over the details of how you earn those shards. So for the Age of X Lilandra, you do need to be character level or player level 60 plus that regularly plays the game, and you should be able to unlock and upgrade Lilandra to 7 yellow stars in 10 weeks time. Her shards will not be available for offers, so it is going to basically be however hard you push and play the game is going to be how fast you progress to it. Now, there is going to be ways where you can kind of get her to 7 stars earlier than some other people. So you can unlock Lilandra by collecting the McCran crystal fragments from a variety of the events to make progress in the Age of X Lilandra milestone. Here's a summary of the events where you can collect the McCran crystal fragments to unlock her. So there's going to be the weekend Cosmic Crucible events starting on Friday, February 14th. That's going to end up being this upcoming week. You're going to be able to progress in this event by playing Cosmic Crucible. There's going to be the daily raids event, which again, that's going to be starting on Monday the 24th. So that's going to be about 2 weeks away for that one. There's also going to be the Starjammer showcase starting in early March. So it looks like the earliest we're going to start earning fragments is going to be that February 14th date. So I do want to end up taking a look as far as the charts goes, as far as how many shards are we actually looking at for this. So if we end up taking a look at this one here, this is going to be the main milestone chart. So you can see there's 20 milestones on here, and it goes from 10 shards, 10, all the way up to 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60, all the way to 100 at the end. This one here is going to be the raid milestone, which the raid milestone is going to be a daily one. So every day we can get up to 36 McCran crystal fragments times 10. So that's 360 McCran crystal fragments for that one. For the Cosmic Crucible, this is going to end up being every weekend. So we have, looks like 2,500 McCran crystal fragments in this one. So it actually doesn't look too bad. Now, they did mention the showcase. So for this one here, this is mainly going to end up being where if you get more stars on the showcase characters, like say Havoc, Howard the Duck, and stuff like that, you're going to be able to kind of push harder into that portion. And that's where the money portion comes into it. But as a free-to-play person, this is actually very cool that in 10 weeks' time, we can get somebody very important in this game like this. So these are first-time rewards only. You won't need to spend power cores, and that's going to end up being for the showcase portion. Upgrading select Starjammers will give you access to the bonus showcase, basically how it is all the time anyways. For upcoming events starting in late March, there's going to be more details to come as we approach the event. So there's going to be also events portion in here as well. We already went over the charts for this. So this is going to kick off February 14th, which is 2 weeks. Now, the main thing that you guys are probably looking at is going to be these new characters that we have in game. So if we end up actually going in the game portion, you can already see on here that Fruit and Rocket. So for Rocket right here, you can kind of see that they have some additional things like additional crit chance, 70% damage, 70% damage. And this one here, if Fruit's an ally, flip all negative effects. And here already mentioned Starjammers on it. If we actually click on Starjammers, you can see they're already in-game. So I already got my Groot to 102, G19. I'm going to work Rocket up next. As far as the character models, Havoc looks pretty cool. That looks very comic accurate in my opinion as far as how it is. We don't... Oh, looks like we are able to kind of see the kits a little bit in-game, but we're going to end up looking at the PDF as far as that goes. It's just easier to read, so we're not cycling through everything. Here is Howard the Duck for what he looks like. He actually looks really cool. So we have 2 jetpack characters in here with Rocket owning a jetpack and Howard the Duck. That's pretty funny. And the Lilandra character model looks really cool as far as that goes. Well, let's go ahead and jump to the spreadsheet, the PDF document here. So Havoc is a hero cosmic mutant blaster. He does have the X-Men tag. That's actually really cool. Right now in that war season going on, X-Men on defense. So when he comes out, we can slot him in with a lot of different X-Men characters and really get that boost for those type of teams. He has a speed of 128, which is actually pretty fast. So his basic Plasma Punch, flip 2 random negative effects on self, attack the primary target for 280% damage, apply slow, chain to 1 adjacent target for 280% damage, and apply slow. The ISO attack is going to flip the 2 negative effects on self as well. So I could see Striker being a pretty good one for this character already. Special, Energy Upheaval. Energy cost is a 5/5. Attack primary target for 350% damage. Apply stun for 2 turns and trauma for 1 turn. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 280% damage. Apply heal block for 2 turns. Apply +1 trauma up to maximum of 3. So getting that trauma on the primary. And is it primary and adjacent? That's the big question. So stun, trauma for 1 turn, attack primary and adjacent for another +1. So it looks like the primary target gets 2 turns of trauma. The adjacents gets 1 turn of trauma. That's pretty nasty. On Crucible defense. Now, usually if it's a defense thing like this, it's just talking more how the targeting portion is going to end up being on here. So these attacks target a random enemy controller with charge instead ignoring taunt and stealth. So on defense, targeting a controller to where it's going to end up hitting the controller for 2 turns trauma, and then the adjacents for 1 turn, that's pretty nasty. And this attack cannot be blocked or counterattacked. For the ultimate, Localization Catastrophe. Energy cost is a 5/5. So on offense, you're going to be able to pick and choose which one you need to do. The trauma, or whatever this one is. Attack primary target for 400% piercing damage. That's a lot for new stats. Apply defense down for 2 turns. On kill, apply safeguard to self and all Starjammer and all X-Men allies. That's everywhere. So with that war current bonus going on, if you slot him in with a bunch of X-Men characters, like maybe say Gambit, Nightcrawler, Phoenix, how they kind of boost up HP and damage as well, he's going to get the extra damage for that. Then on the defense side, if you don't kill him and he hits and kills somebody with this, he's going to give safeguard to all of those X-Men allies. Prolong the duration of defense down by 1 on each enemy with barrier. Interesting. This attack ignores defense up and grants 100% damage if the primary target has barrier. So 500% damage if they have barrier is ridiculous. The passive, Magistrate Summers. When an enemy attacks his character, a Starjammer ally or an X-Men ally. So enemy attacks this character, Starjammer or X-Men ally. Attack the enemy for 200% piercing damage. That's everywhere. But this attack is unavoidable, gains plus 50% damage if the enemy has barrier. That's everywhere again. On enemy turn, if that enemy has barrier, and if this character has 2 or more Starjammer or X-Men allies, apply disrupt, +1 disrupt, up to a maximum of 3. Enemies with barrier cannot gain immunity. That's a very nasty passive that could be used everywhere. Lower the damage reduction for all enemies with barrier by 25%. So if they have barrier, they also take an additional damage going through it. Now the Crucible part. In Crucible, this character and all Starjammer allies gain plus 5% speed for each enemy with barrier up to a max of 50% speed. So that's if all 10 characters are filled out there, for which maybe summons would end up causing something like that. So if there's like a lot of summons, like say Mysterio portion, that's a bad example, but that is an example where there could be a lot of characters out there for that. Normally it's going to end up being about 25% extra speed. because of having it where there's only 5 characters on the other side. So still 25% speed, and Lilandra was a slow character at like 113 speed. Yeah, she was 113 speed, so 25% of that is another about 22, about 27 speed added on to her, so it makes her about 130 speed. About 130 speed, so still pretty good. Actually 140 speed, sorry. Full of math in my head. All right, Howard the Duck, let's see what he has. So he's a Hero Cosmic Tech Blaster Starjammer, 120 speed for him. Basic is Quack Foo, so gain offense up for 2 turns. In Crucible instead, apply offense up for 2 turns to self and all Starjammer allies. So that's really good for Striker as well, because the Striker's also given offense up for 2 turns. There could be a lot of Strikers on this team, oddly enough. Attack primary target for 240% damage. Bonus attack for 75% piercing damage. In Crucible, bonus attack primary target for additional 2 times. So that makes it 150% piercing damage plus 240 regular damage. That could hurt, especially new stats for that. Special, Lucky Malfunction. He's a 3/5, clear barrier on all enemies. Attack all enemies for 300% piercing. For each enemy with barrier on start of this turn, gain plus 25% damage up to a maximum of 200% damage on this attack. That's very interesting. That's a very interesting mechanic built into an ability and not a passive. Very cool. Ultimate, BFG. If you know, you know. Energy cost 6/6. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 350% piercing. Apply ability block for 2 turns and disrupt for 2 turns. That's a powerful ability already. For Crucible, if this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, so the full team, apply trauma for 2 turns to all enemies. This attack gains plus 25% extra damage against targets with barrier and ignores defense up. So this right here also does extra damage against barrier, and they're getting that 25% damage reduction if they have barrier as well. So again, this move's gonna hurt. So he's a blaster, I believe, right? Yeah, he's a blaster, so these moves are gonna be devastating. He's gonna have a high attack power on there. For the passive, Detective Duck. On spawn, apply defense up for 2 turns to self and all Starjammer allies. In Crucible, fill the speed bar for self and all Starjammer allies by 15% plus 5% per Starjammer ally. So not only are they getting a speed bonus through Havoc, they're getting a speed bar fill in Crucible as well. So this team's going to be flying all over the place. On enemy turn, if that character has barrier, attack that enemy for 200% piercing damage. In Crucible, before this character takes a turn, speed bar cannot be filled or reduced by any enemy for themselves, allies, or enemies. So basically the Captain Britain portion right here. If this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, the speed of all enemies can only be altered by positive and negative effects. Wow. Let's read that again. If this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, the speed of all enemies can only be altered by positive and negative effects. Basically, speed up and slow is basically what that's saying. If this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, enemies cannot gain evade either. That's pretty nasty. So for Lilandra, we already went over her kit in another video. As far as like a quick rundown for it, she's going to be doing offense down for 2 turns along with the damage. The special attack for 330% damage gives defense down again and slow. It's going to do a rebound chain, and depending how many characters it bounces between, it's going to do the +1 offense down and heal block. So it was a really powerful move for her here. She's going to be given barrier by 20% this character's max health to all allies. She's going to be giving taunt to Groot as well with the special, along with regen for him. And if it has 3 or more Starjammer allies, it cannot be counterattacked. For the ultimate 6/6, this is the turn 1 ability as well, so you can kind of pick and choose which one you want to go with. So Crucible, clear barrier. If there's 3 or more Starjammer allies, clear all positive effects. Then it's going to hit them for 200% damage. It's going to do a bonus attack. So this is basically 600% damage that's going to be going through. And then she's going to be putting trauma on all allies. She is, I believe, the slowest character at 113 speed. So she's going to be going last. So all those negative effects that's on the enemy, trauma is going to be dished out to all of them. And then on kill, clear all negative effects on self and all Starjammer allies, and then get immunity and safeguards. Really saves the team and keeps them safe. The passive, she's going to be summoning Gladiator when she drops below 50% health, triggered once per match. On any turn, if this character does not have exhaust, flip vulnerables on self into regeneration, which is a new mechanic, pretty interesting. On enemy turn, if that enemy has barrier, they're going to be getting offense down up to a max of 3. And then Cosmic Protectors cannot gain taunt. That's basically call it to Gladiator right there. In Crucible, if there's 4 or more Starjammer allies, enemies cannot gain speed up. Now remember that Howard the Duck said they can only gain speed by using like positive negative effects type of thing, like speed up and slow. They're not going to be getting speed up. So they're going to be going very slow because the slow is being dished out to them. And also Starjammer allies cannot gain slow either. So for the updated characters for Groot, massive stat jump. So 484% to health, 384 to damage, 273 for armor, 430 for focus, 400 for resistance. For the basic update on Groot, it's going to be doing additional apply 2 regeneration for 2 turns to self and the 2 most injured enemy or allies. The special is Overgrowth, clear all negative effects on self and all allies, apply 2 deathproof and defense up for 2 turns to self and all allies, apply safeguard for 2 turns to self and all Starjammer allies, attack the primary for 300% damage. Before this didn't do any attack portion on there, so they baked an attack on here. It's going to flip 2 random positive effects on the enemy as well. Then it's going to call a random Starjammer ally to attack the primary target. So because of this right here, I'm wondering if we might be figuring out maybe like a striker skirmisher combination. We'll see. In Crucible, instead call 2 Starjammer allies with the highest damage. That's going to hurt. So that could call in like a Havoc and a Howard the Duck for the assist on there once they get built up higher. Ultimate is Life Spores. It's going to reduce the duration of all negative effects on self and all Starjammer allies. He has a negative effect decay on him by 2. That is amazing, considering the only other one that has that is a Shadow King, who's a legendary, including trauma. Very, very powerful. This is everywhere, so this could be pretty good in war or tower modes. Okay, he's going to clear 2 negative effects from all other allies, heal self and all allies by 15%. Yeah, the clear 2 negative effects is all other allies. This is everybody. The decay portion, though, where it's going to reduce it, is only Starjammer. Apply immunity for 2 turns to self and all Guardian and all Starjammer allies. I really want them to rework Star-Lord. That would be amazing. In Crucible, apply Safeguard. So another Safeguard. That's 3 or 4 safeguards built into this team. Apply Safeguard for 2 turns to self and all Starjammer allies. Generate 2 ability energy for a random Rocket Raccoon ally. And then in Crucible, if this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, instead, generate 2 ability energy for self and all Starjammer allies. Very powerful. Alright, so for the passive, when this character is attacked, gain +1 counter and apply a slow to the attacker. If this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies where this character's health is greater than or equal to 40%, lower the assist chance of all enemies by 100%. This is just basically saying it's going to try to beat Illuminati, hopefully Odinati as well, because they can't get the assist. So no Odin assist going on. Until this character takes a turn, this character and all Starjammer allies gain 500% focus. So until he goes, you're landing those negative effects. On death, 20% chance to revive with 25% of this character's max health. For each Starjammer ally, gain plus 20% revive chance, and revive with an additional plus 20% of this character's max health. So we need to kill Groot last, is what this is basically saying. I was wondering how this is going to end up working because Lilandra putting taunt on Groot, he didn't have a guaranteed revive. This is getting him that guaranteed revive. Apply defense up to all allies, apply speed up, offense up, and counter to all Guardian and Starjammer allies, and that's on death. So if he accidentally gets killed off, he's buffing up this team to the moon. Apply death proof to a Rocket Raccoon ally as well. For Rocket Raccoon, his rework: health increased by 487%, damage by 320%, armor 429%, focus 470%, and resistance 425%. Basic: if Groot is an ally, the attack becomes unavoidable, and you can see the damage increase in the extra crit chance that he gives as well for the basic. For the special, attack the primary for 350% damage, so 10% extra boost. No piercing, sadly. Plus 8% crit chance per Starjammer ally. So 8 times 4 is 32% crit chance extra on here. Apply taunt for 2 turns and immunity for 2 turns to a random Groot ally. Call a random Groot ally to attack the primary target. Gain an assist from a random ally. If 4 more Starjammer allies, it's unavoidable, cannot be blocked. I really like how they're having interactions with each other for Rocket and Groot. They definitely need to do that. The ultimate, this is a 2/4 ability, so he gets it 1 turn earlier than what he already does. 310% piercing damage on this one. So this does get the piercing, and this was the one where he jumps on top of Groot and just blasts everybody. Gain 2 counter. Gain 2 counter. If Groot's an ally, flip all negative effects on self and Groot. Apply 2 counter to self, all Guardian and Starjammer allies. This attack ignores defense up, unavoidable, cannot be blocked. The passive, not much on the passive. On turn, apply offense up for 2 turns to self and 2 random allies that do not have offense up. Gain plus 5% damage. Tech allies gain plus 5% damage. And Howard the Duck was tech. If this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, lower enemy crit chance by 100%. So, very powerful hit. Now, I was told if we end up going into here, they should end up having the stats table updated with these new characters. Let's go ahead and find out. So we're going to go 7-7, no diamonds, calculate. Let's go to health. And let's go ahead and take a look, see if Howard is, so Howard the Duck. So Howard at a 7-7, no ISO, 6.6% health, 438 for the damage, 278 for the armor. His focus is 88k, resist 76k, so pretty good. 29 for health. Where's he at for the damage? Damage is 21, so he's like a top 20 character. 13 for armor, 13 focus. Resistance isn't quite up there. Let's go ahead and do a search for Lilandra now. So 7.1 million health. Damage is 447, so 10 for damage. Armor is number 2 in the game. Focus is 88k, so 12. Resistance isn't going to be great at 92. Maybe it is. So number 4 for resistance. So very good stats for Lilandra. And the last one's going to be Havoc. So Havoc has 7 million health, so 14. Damage is 465%. Armor is number 7 at 296. Focus is 28 at 79k, and then resistance is 82k, number 12. Let's see where Rocket ends up sitting at with the stats on here. So Rocket is 5.2 million health. So health is a little low on him, but he gets a lot of death to kind of keep him alive. 450k for damage, so number 9 for damage. The armor is 185k at 43. And the focus is at 43 at 70k, and 76k for the resistance puts him at 21. The last character is going to be Groot, who also got the rework. So let's see where he's at. How tanky is he? 6.2 million health at number 38. 429 damage. He's not much of a damage dealer, but 26 for the damage. Armor is number 19, 253k. Focus is pretty low, 64k, but he doesn't really do a lot of negative effects out there. Then resistance was 60k, which puts him at 41. So the new characters definitely have a lot of big stats on there, which that's to be expected. But let me know what you guys think. This Starjammers team looks ridiculous, and they're definitely going to be kind of the Apex Crucible team. As you saw in game, I was already working Groot up. I'm now going to be working Rocket up as well, up to that level 102, going to that 105. And I'm going to be using my power cores to really push on Havoc and Howard the Duck. So I've been saving my stash. I'm at about 9,000 power cores. I'm definitely going to be coring for them along with doing that first purchase to try to get them to that max stars as soon as possible. But let me know what you guys think about this for the kits for the Starjammers, the Lilandra event. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What changes would you like to see to it? If you did enjoy this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.